Hey you guys, thank you so much for joining me and watching this video. I am installing Outre True Frontal Peak number 705 today in the color dark brown number 2. It is a beautiful, long, flowy wig. Of course, first I started by using my zigzag craft scissors, the pinking shears. And then I'm going to show you how I tinted the lace really lightly. One of my favorite wig reviewers that's been doing this a lot longer than I have says she's had trouble with the lace on this wig, on this line in particular, the True Frontal Peak. But this one melted so quickly and so easily, in my opinion. I used very minimal lace tint mousse to tint my lace and very minimal melting spray just to temporarily lay down that lace and blend it in with my skin. I used the hot comb, didn't really need to tell you the truth, but I like to just kind of get the bumps out of there to get that hair as close to my scalp as possible. I just like the way it looks. It looks more natural in my opinion. This wig texture, you can kind of see it's kind of silky. It looks a little silkier because in the interest of saving my wigs and making my stretching the life of my synthetic wigs, I always spray some type of silicone or dimethicone spray, like Simply Stylin light silicone spray, before I ever comb out the wig, and it makes my synthetic wigs last much longer. You could even use a wig conditioner, but you see me using Ebin lace melting spray right here. I blow dried it just a little bit to just get it tacky so that that lace will stick. And I feel like the lace blended in pretty decent for me. So then I'll go in and start to lay it down with the end of my rat tail comb. I'll use anything I can grab to tell you the truth, to do this part. But like I said, this is a very long, beautiful, wavy wig. I really like it. Has just a little bit of a peak, a little bit of a Lagos hairline there already. You don't have to pluck. I didn't do any plucking to this wig. I don't like to pluck. I'm not good at it yet. And as you can see, I'm just getting the lace to just stick down right there in the front. I don't worry too much about the sides and the edges because I'm just doing this temporary. You can kind of see my brown wig cap on top of my head sticking through. That's how good this lace is. It's pretty good. I'm going to cover that up with makeup here shortly. Outre says this wig is about 28 inches. I think if you stretch it out, it's going to be a little bit longer than that, but I guess it falls at about 28 inches. Now here you see me spraying again. Now I did do this before I combed out, but I always spray with something, a conditioner or a silicone spray, like Simply Stylin. So here I got I had some of the edges of the lace still kind of poking out there, so I just used the end of my rat tail comb and rubbed a little melting spray on it and used my hair dryer to just kind of put the finishing touches with that hair dryer. I personally don't use the melting band. In the past, the melting band has, I don't know, given my hairline a very dry looking finish. And I'm not saying I want a super shiny finish either, but my preferred method is just to use my rat tail comb or the back of a comb and just use the hair dryer and just press it, put a little melting spray on top and press it into my skin as smooth as possible. So then I clean up the hairline a little bit. You don't want that, you don't need that extra melting spray. And so I clean up the hairline with a wet towel, and then you see me using my Ruby Kisses powder palette. It does not matter whether you use Ruby Kisses or Black Radiance or any other brand. Any kind of cheap powder works. You can kind of use a little hairspray to seal that in, but all I'm trying to do here is cover the little knots, the little dots where the hair has been tied to the scalp. Outre is pretty good with small knots, hand-tied wigs that make the knots kind of easy to cover. So I try to stick to a color of makeup, really any kind of makeup that is just maybe barely a shade lighter than my skin. That just seems to has worked for me for somewhat of a natural look. So really, I am just about done. And that's about all I'm doing to this wig. It really didn't take long, really simple, very imperfect install, and I was kind of happy with it. So thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back to show you how this wig held up all day. Bye bye.